because that was actually at my vocation. So for those that don't know me, my name is Stacy Graham, and I am a certified ASC Master Technician, and I own 2 shops in Auburn, California. And yes, my fingernails are bought and paid for. The reason I am in Rotary is because of my vocation. I was already doing community service prior to joining Rotary. I was very involved in my community. I chaired the Relay for Life for 5 years. I did several projects, worked with several service clubs, but none of them seemed to fit because I couldn't figure out what they could give me. I knew what I could give them, but what could they give me? I like to think of Rotary as the first networking group ever created. Who agrees? Yeah. We've all been told the long story of how Rotary was formed. And it was formed for networking for their careers. And they rotated from business to business, hence the word Rotary. So when I was looking for a service club I wanted to join, Rotary was probably the least on my list, sorry to say, because yes, I did have exactly what your district governor-elect said, the ideals of Rotary. Somebody asked me to come to a meeting. First of all, they told me it was at 7 o'clock in the morning. I said, there is no freaking way. That's just nuts. Second of all, he was 80 years old. What do we have in common, guy? But he was one of my customers at the shop. So he said, just trust me on this. I think you'll really like it. And I said, okay, let's give it a shot. Can I wear my bathrobe because I don't do mornings? So I went to the first meeting as a visitor, as a guest. And when we stood up so he could introduce me, which was freaky enough, because for those of you that don't know, this public speaking gig is not my thing. I would rather be one of the dancers out here today. But when we stood up, he said my name, and then he said what I did for a living. And I kind of looked at him like, okay, that's cool. Now everybody's going to be thinking, Grease Monkey, what the heck? But after the meeting, people came over to me and started asking me about my shops, about my career, about my businesses, and could they have a business card? Well, I'm kind of one of those people that forgets to put that in my purse, so I'm like, yeah, sure, come to the shop and grab one. I now have them in my purse, but unfortunately not the one I have here today. Whoops. So I was like, well, okay, wow. So then I went into some deep research about service clubs before I agreed to join Rotary. And what I found was Rotary, your guys' clubs, my clubs, was the only nonprofit service organization in the world to recognize vocational service. The only one. Not the Elks, not the Lions, not the Kiwanis, not the Seroptimists. And yes, I would make a great Seroptimist, but I don't like heels. Plus, you asked me to dress business casual. Well, this is not business casual, but in my district where we're from, and you'll see from one of the other speakers, we kind of have to dress up for business casual. I don't know. Because I actually showed up in my slippers today. So I was like, okay, so Rotary can give me something back at the same time that I could give something back to my community. I could network with other people. So in the year 2000, when I was at the age of 18, I became a Rotarian of Auburn Daybreak Rotary. Yay! Because if it it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here today and have to stand up here and speak and want to kill Ray. But I'm a Rotarian because of my vocation, and still am a Rotarian because of my vocation, and I'm very passionate about it. How many in here know that you have a district vocational chair? Jim Crowley, will you please stand up? You know, on that piece of paper on the back, I want you guys to all get Jim Crowley's information. He's got ideas for you, your club. In fact, you have a membership chair in the district. Are they here today? Will you please stand? I'm from another district, so I don't know. Oh, Mike Renero! Can Mike and Jim work together?
Jim, I don't like to work with Jim.
No way!
He's too aggressive for me.
Because with membership recruitment, you're going to want to use that edge. Use that vocational edge. It's the only one that Rotary has versus all other service clubs. You want somebody that's 30, they're busy, they have kids, they have a family, they have a career, they're starting to get their business off the road, or off the ground, or road, or whatever. I say road because I'm in cars, right? That's why I knew it was a Tundra. Right? He doesn't have my license plate frames, I need to find you. But they're looking for ways to network. I went to my first fireside chat with, you know, my 80-year-old sponsor. Yeah, whatever, a bunch of people, just another meeting, right? At least it wasn't in the morning, I got wine. It was really totally cool. It made me happy. So I said, okay, what is this with the vocational situation? Because I didn't understand that. And they told me, well, Stacy, you're a unique individual. And I said, duh, my mom told me that. Well, no, you're unique. You have a story to tell. It's interesting. Because when I first originally thought of Rotary, I thought, older men, no offense with gray hair, Ray, no offense, again. And I thought, well-to-do. I was born and raised in Nevada County, third generation by a single woman. She worked very, very hard to give me everything she could, but she couldn't afford college. So what do I have to offer? I get to go out and speak to kids. I get to tell them, as a woman in my field, you can do and be anything you want to. You just got to give it 150%. You got to work hard, you got to strive, but you can do it. I get to tell that to kids. I get to make the high school cheerleader, of which obviously I was. I get to make the high school cheerleaders realize you don't have to follow the path that everybody thinks you're going to follow. Because when I go to class reunions, I always hear, are you seriously doing what? I would have never expected that. And I said, yeah, but I totally think it's so fun. I get to help women in need. Maybe they're coming out of domestic abuse. Maybe they lost their job. But I get to help. I get to connect and inspire through Rotary and through my vocation. Some clubs are really cool, and they have a club directory listing each vocation that you guys have. The Rotary Club of Roseville has actually done an excellent job at promoting membership, vocation, and brand and foundation. The current club president has become a licensed vendor with Rotary International. Most of the shirts that you see with District 5190 that you're wearing today, and I'm not wearing mine because I stained it and I'm not your district anyway, I went along the story. Got oil on it. This company made. In your flyers, I was so happy to see this page right here that allows people to promote their vocations and also allows you guys to have a better program at a more affordable cost, right? President Val, will you please stand? If you guys don't know, and I hope you soon will, but I'm assuming you do, please come up and meet Val. She owns this wonderful company called Promote Me. She makes shirts for actually my district, for my area. I give shirts to my president-elect. Sorry, AGs, you're going to have to show me up on that. I give shirts to him every year, and actually Val's the one that makes them. Gives me a great prize. I'm supporting a fellow Rotarian's business, and she's supporting the foundation. See how it all rolls together? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? I need lawyer advice. I'll let you know my business lawyer is sitting in this room today. William Bowen, will you please stand? My CPA is my current club president. My workman's comp insurance guru is in my Rotary Club. How many of you know what your district governor-elect does for a living? Somebody yell it.
Insurance.
Can you use that in your business? Yes. Wouldn't you like to work with somebody that has the same ideals, the same principles, and the same ethics that you do? Call Ray Ward when after the year's over and he's not busy anymore, but do call him. The gentleman that's mic'd me up today tried to keep me calm because I know that most of you think I'm a paid professional public speaker, and I am not. But the gentleman that mic'd me up today tried to keep me calm and does all these wonderful commercials and videos for you guys. And District 5190 is rather jealous that you have him. But Mike Renero, an entrepreneur, how many people do you think he meets in his vocation that he can say, why don't you check out a Rotary Club? Because he helped charter Passport One Rotary Club. Create the concept, think outside the box, and when I look around to those members that are in Passport Rotary One, am I saying that right? Oh, cool. We say that now because every district's getting a passport club, so we got to be number one. But when I look around that club, I see a bunch of young professionals that don't have a lot of time to go to meetings every week, but they want to get back to their community, but they also want to network. How many retired people in here? I would like to personally meet each and every one of you. Because you're retired and I'm not, and I hope to be one day. But you would make a great mentor for me. See, my 80-year-old sponsor in the Rotary, he stood up and he gave what they call a craft talk. And that was 6 years after I'd been in Rotary. And I sat there astonished by this man and what he did. Did stained glass, did this, did this. And then he said, oh, and by the way, I created the turkey temperature popper-upper thing. Well, first of all, I never baked a turkey in my life, but I was like, cool, I know what it is. I found it on Amazon, actually. He invented that. He patented it, he sold it. Wow. Norman McLeod. Right there in Auburn, California. I was just like, oh my gosh. And I thought to myself, whoa, you know, for an 80-year-old dude, you're pretty cool. So I asked him to come over for coffee at my business so I could pick his brain on how he thinks that way, how he came up with those concepts, and how he did all that. Because, you know, I can tell you about your oil, but I can't tell you about marketing. I know, if you think I can, that's valid, job. But I can't tell you about marketing, and I can't tell you about insurance, and I can't tell you about workman's comp, and I can't tell you about my accounting, and I can't tell you about my computer system, because as Henry Ford said, I surround myself with people that are smarter than me. And for me, I surround myself with Rotarians. I have a problem, I reach out to you guys. When I'm looking for speakers for clubs, your wonderful past District Governor Bob Deering came up to Auburn and spoke on your human trafficking that you guys have here. And then one of your assistant governors with the Rotary Club of Fair Oaks, Joe, everybody get his name and number. Because what he did when he was working before he was 70, what are you, 74 now? Yeah, but we have big discussion. He drives a really cool car. Have you seen his car? Freaking sweet! But he's got an incredible story about his career that is mesmerizing, and on his wrist he still wears a remembrance of that career. Ask him to come speak at your club. Because wouldn't that make him feel really good? Maybe not. Depends on what time it is. I heard he doesn't like mornings either. But recognizing, Valerie, how did you feel when I recognized your business? I'm shy too, you just can't tell. Yeah. The lawyer Bill, Mike, you engaged? You're my friends. Membership retention, ladies and gentlemen. You can use vocational service for membership retention. Let's face it, I spend 80% of my life at my businesses. I spend more time there than I do at home, and believe it or not, I spend more time there than I do with Rotary. That is shocking. So when my club recognized me and gave me a Paul Harris for being the Businesswoman of the Year for Auburn, I felt pretty darn special. Felt like they cared. They cared about me. How I am responsible for 10 families, that I employ 10 people. How I am responsible to keep those doors rolling up every day. How I'm responsible to pay my own bills. My members of my club care, and I know it. Do your members know it? Anybody in here that's working, do your employees know you're a Rotarian and why? Do you have employee recognition days at your club once a year? Because I would not be standing here today, and I would not be doing half the things I do in Rotary if it wasn't for these 10 incredible people that stood behind me and said, go do it, we've got this covered. So once a year, I get to take one of them to lunch, and I get to recognize them in front of a group of Rotarians. They ask me, how do we get to join? Each one of my employees can recite the 4-way test to you. It's a requirement that I have. In the automotive world, you understand. In my waiting room, you will see my Paul Harris. In my office, you will see my past president's plaques. Thank you very much for reminding me. You will see in the waiting rooms also, you will see the Rotary magazine. See how I'm using my vocation to spread Rotary? Because I hate to tell you, and I know you guys are totally shocked, but I am the face of Rotary. And I certainly am not going to tell you I have gray hair. I cover it up. But I joined in 2019 years ago. I was 30-something. Well, I said I was 18, but that's cool. I just lied. Whoops. Just a couple weeks ago, I'm proud to say I turned 51. My mother is very proud of me. And when 2006 rolled around, worst year of my life, the worst day of my life happened. I had to say goodbye to the mentor, my hero, my world. And as I stood up at the celebration of life of my mother, after a Rotarian had just spoke, because he was the officiant, and he donated that time. And I looked out at the table, and I saw 3 tables full of Rotarians from my area, and some from Grass Valley area, because that's where we're from, that didn't even know my mother. I vowed from then on to be the face of Rotary, to spread the Rotary message, be the brand of Rotary, give it all I've got. Because if it wasn't for Rotary, I don't know where I'd be at in my career. Would I have been able to buy those 2 businesses? I'd probably be bald because I would have pulled my hair out 10,000 times by now. I was on the phone with our wonderful lawyer in the room, Bill, just a few weeks ago when I had employee issues. I was at the Rotary Zone Institute and having employee issues while I was up there. In the middle of sessions, I'm getting text messages. Ray saw me start to get a little freaked out, a little stressed, which, yeah, you know, I can do that. And he said, after this session is over, I'd like to speak with you. Okay. What now? You're going to give me a glass of wine and make me feel better or what? So we went out in the hallway, and he said, I'd like to help you with something. There's an HR group online that could really help you. So I'm going to send you a link to them. So it will help you answer some of these questions, and you can go up to your room and try to get this all sorted out and calm down. That was Ray Ward. And he didn't have to do that. He was very busy with his district governor training. I'm watching this line because that net looks really fun. Really busy with his district governor training. But as a Rotarian, he took the time out to help me in the middle of a crazy situation. So it's not just membership, it's not just retention, it's each other, it's fun, it's friendships. As many of you know, and if you don't, Ray is my Rotary brother. We met at Pets. All the crazy hats you see him wear, yes, thank you. Wigs, that's me. We go out, we have fun, we celebrate, and we remember that we are the faces of Rotary, and we want to change it. And my way of changing it is through vocational services. Making Rotarians feel proud of their careers and everything they do, because that is their passion. Getting new members. Anybody that comes into my office is a potential victim. I was at the grocery store last night, and I actually looked at the checker, because I don't know, anybody else here own a business? Like a storage place, right? I don't know about you, but I'm always out there whenever I'm doing restaurants or Publix or grocery stores or anything. I'm always out there trying to see if these people that are serving, helping me, would be good employees. Always looking for good employees. And you never know where you might find them. Because I was a bartender before I was doing what I was doing. Shocking, I know how to make some huge cocktails. But you never know where you might find them. And so last night I was at the checkout stand, and the gal's helping me, and she gave the lady in front of me Monopoly pieces, and I'm like, cool, I get to play Monopoly. And I got there, and I realized, oh, I'm actually looking for Rotarians right now, too. I'm looking for those people that have those high ethical standards, the same things that you and I share. People that can help represent the objects of Rotary, our guiding principles. Because in Rotary, every occupation is useful. Every single one, including retired, because I really do want to talk to you later. So ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to please get to know Jim, your district vocational chair. I encourage Mike Brunel and Jim to work together on a vocational membership plan and vocational membership retention plan. How can we do that? I encourage you to go to Promote Me and check out all the Rotary stuff she has. I encourage you to talk to Bill Bowen when you need legal advice regarding employees. And he even did the contract for incorporating one of my businesses. Thank you very much. He did it pro bono. Then I did some work on his car pro bono. I encourage you when you need insurance services, probably after next year, to talk to Ray Ward. I encourage you to ask people to come to your clubs and speak. Who better to ask to speak to a Rotary club than a Rotarian? Make them feel warm and fuzzy. Celebrate what they do. Celebrate their careers. Celebrate their passions. You have the shelter box representative in this room, Bill Tobin. Ask him to come to your club. Ask Bob Deering to come to your club. Ask Joe, because he's got 3 different programs, to come to your club and speak. Ask each other as Rotarians. And ask how I could possibly get involved in the flash mob that happened here this morning. First of all, ask yourself, did you start in Rotary because of your vocation? You stayed in Rotary because of community service? You continue in Rotary because Rotarians have become your family. Through my vocation, I have over 1 million family members right now. Thank you.